up? It's me, Jeremy, broadcasting live. We're almost done. So close to the finish line. Live from my hotel room here at South by Southwest. New friends, old friends. I feel like we're old friends at this point because Cage the Elephant and Kansas City have a love connection.
We've been there a lot of times, and all good times.
I feel like there are a lot of stories, Kansas City stories with Cage the Elephant as well. We don't have to get into that right now.
I think maybe one of the first times Matt stood on the crowd might have been in Kansas City.
I think at Beach Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've played a few beach balls, but there was that one like on the riverfront.
Yeah, it was like one of our first ones playing that. It was almost 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, it was a minute. It's been a while.
Because he used to do it on his knees when we were like in bars and stuff, and I think that's one of the first times he like did the full stand.
We are talking to Brad from Cage the Elephant. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Then they said you're going to a hotel room. What did you think?
At this point, I'm just led wherever I go, and I'm happy with it.
It was pretty funny when you walked in because we have this awesome Coors Light board that we're having everybody sign, and I went to put water on it to wash it off, and you thought something different. You thought that this was going to get a little out of hand.
I was like, is she putting chloroform on it? Am I about to have a blackout here?
And not in a good way. In a good way. So, album, new music, all sorts of stuff happening with you guys. You guys are busy.
Yeah. Actually, it was really busy making this record. Mm-hmm. But now I feel like my hands have just been like, it's like I have empty time on my hands, and like it starts to make me super anxious.
Really?
Yeah, because I've been sitting at home even though we have the song out and all that.
Yeah.
Our main touring really doesn't start until like June. Mm-hmm. We do Shaky Knees Festival, but that's like a one-off.
Yeah.
And so this is good to get out and get down here and
kind of shake it off a little bit and prepare yourself.
Yeah, totally.
So album Social Cues comes out in April. What kind of things do you have to do to prepare yourself? Do you have to get into like a mental state where you're like, okay, these songs are done, they're going to be out in the world soon, or are you just ready? Do you just want everyone to hear this stuff and be?
I put all the stress in it when we are making the record, and especially this record, we made it in such a strange way, or strange to what we had done previous records, but we were doing like 2-week sessions, and then we take 5 weeks off, kind of review everything, not really even finishing songs.
Yeah.
And then because we wanted to be a lot more intentional with everything that went into these songs, just so this created more of a, we wanted every part to invoke something or to play a purpose part within the song, not just play to play on the track. And we've generally cut as a live band on every other record. This one, we might finish like drums and bass, and then chill for 5 weeks.
Wow.
And then come back and do 2 weeks and add a little bit more, and then chill for 5 weeks. So it was really odd, but we did that on purpose to, kind of get ourselves outside of our box, make ourselves uncomfortable a little bit.
Yeah.
Through that, we've found that it forces you to grow as an artist. So that's, I think we did that, but once they're coming out, I'm like, once we've mixed and mastered the record, I honestly, maybe the day that the song comes out, I'll listen to it, but I don't even listen to the record ever again.
Really?
Yeah, because you kind of birth in, it's there. It's for people at that point.
Yeah.
And we've kind of put everything into it that we're going to it.
Nice.
It'd be odd if I was riding around town jamming out to my own songs. Anyways, that's something my dad does. He's like, I record. The only stuff that he has in his car is like the songs that he's written on CDs. He's like, I got a new CD I made for you.
That's awesome. So, in the midst of all of this recording, we have to talk about Dan Luke and the Raid as well.
Oh yeah.
Tell everybody what that is. If no one knows, tell everyone what that is.
Dan Luke and the Raid is our little baby brother, Matt. He's he was a straggler. He came in very late. I'm 36. He's 22. So I was kind of like his uncle.
I understand. I have 13 years between my brother and myself, so
yeah.
I get it.
But, he grew up in the same environment. The same things that made him a songwriter are the things that made us songwriters. And I believe that he has his own thing, but he has the same sentiment when it comes to how he approaches writing and what he believes in, and the honesty that he puts into his songs. And so, yeah, I generally almost like came near to like shunning him because I didn't want him to have any, like, I didn't want him to have an easier road because of what we did, because then you don't really push yourself as a songwriter and you don't appreciate the process that it takes to do this. And I think he made huge strides within the last couple of years, and that was when I was like, okay, now it's time to at least help him record a record.
Yeah.
He had never even been in a real studio. And so we went and cut a record at this studio called Battle Tapes in Nashville, and the same engineer that engineered Cage's record, Jerry Ferguson, also engineered Daniel's record, and I produced it, and they're down here doing their thing.
That's awesome. You've got to be like a proud big brother, though, too.
Yeah.
Like, at the same time, even though you're going, okay, don't ride my coattails, but at the same time, you have to be, like, pushing him, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I get happy for him, but I'm also so hard. I feel bad because I literally would push him until he was, like in the studio where he was, like, ready to give up. And I was like, but he always came back. And that's the thing. He got to a breaking point, and then he pushed past it every time, and the songs incrementally got better as we went throughout making the record process. So he, and even with his live show, I'm like, get into that killer mentality. Don't be so lazy.
Do you also have those moments where you're like, I used to do this, and you need to do it 10 times better?
Oh, God.
Uphill both ways to school and snow up to my ankles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He probably wants to throw up at this point from how many times I've told him things like that.
That's awesome.
Like, you're so spoiled. You have everything handed to you. You lazy piece of crap.
We are talking to Brad from Cage the Elephant. New music, new album, Social Cues, comes out in April. The tour with Beck, that had to have been... Is that still going, or is that officially done now?
No, we haven't even started.
Oh, you haven't started that yet?
No, that starts in July.
I thought it already
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here
minute.
feeling like my hands are just empty. I'm just sitting at home, like, twiddling my fingers. Yeah, no, it starts in July, and I think we do something like 30 shows.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited. That's like, we grew up looking up to Beck. In fact, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked was like our cheap Beck rip-off. But, no, to have him on a track on the record and then also to do this tour, it's kind of, it throws you, it's really trippy.
How did that come together? How did you and Beck become...
We met him at a festival and just came in and said, hey. And we're like, hi, Mr.
You're
Beck.
Mr. Beck. Hello, Mr. Beck.
It's me, Mr. Elephant. But he was super cool, and it was just roundabout general conversation. Yeah. And then as we were leaving the room, I was like, we should do something together. And I had this track for like 5 years, and it kept on getting pushed from record to record. It wasn't like people were into the track in our band. It was just, it never felt like the right timing, and it never evolved past like a demo.
Nice.
And then I almost did it with a few other artists. This track just had somebody guest on it, and it was just going to be me, and like John Gorley was one of them from Portugal the Man. And,
nice.
And then every time I would do that, Matt would be like, I can't believe you're going to do this to me. I would never write a song and give it to someone else. But, he guilt tripped me. And then thank God he did, because, every time he did that, I'd pull the track a bit, call the person up and be like, oh, I think we're going to use this for our next this record, then we wouldn't.
Yeah.
And then I started to get mad, like, I started to get like resentful towards that. So it came around to this record, and I was like, dude, if we do not at least record this, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
For sure. And so we did it. We recorded the instrumental. Everybody in the band, we were all stoked about it. And it has like this old school King Tubby dub psychedelic thing going on.
Nice.
So Matt didn't want, like, there's like a couple ways to do it right, and then there's like a million ways that you could do it wrong and make it horrible and cheesy. And so, vocally, I mean, you know, and he didn't want to spoil the track by doing something wrong, and so he got into his own head, and he just couldn't find what he was supposed to do with the track. And we actually pulled the chorus from another demo off of like more of a punk up-tempo song that we had.
Wow.
And I realized that they were kind of in the same, like within the same parameters, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we got the chorus on it, then he still couldn't find anything. He was having trouble. We were getting stressed. We were arguing about the song. And I kind of let go. I was just like, I was like, oh, whatever happens with the track happens with the track. I'm just going to let it be.
Yeah.
And then I was in that I was venting to my day-to-day manager. I was like, I can't believe Matt's in. So then I started to try to just like think of anything that would spurn some kind of creativity. And I don't know why. I guess maybe because I had just met Beck a few months earlier. But the first thing that popped into my mind was like, let's send it to
call
Beck.
Beck.
Yeah.
Call him.
Let's
Give
just
him a
send
phone
him.
call.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And so we literally just casually sent the song to him. And within like 24, 48 hours, he came back with 2 verses, and he was like, I have 4 more.
Mm.
And so it was crazy. And so we it speaks, volumes about his, how creative he is. But, so there's somewhere in the whole realm, I guess the cloud, there's 4 verses that we haven't even heard. We were so happy with the 2 verses. We're like, yeah, this is our jam.
Right, exactly. That one you're listening to in your car over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You say you don't listen to
I
your
pull up to my dad's house. I'm like, Dad,
look what I did.
I got a CD for you.
Right, exactly.
But